I actually have to start by confessing that before I came up here today, my heel broke. So I have gaffer's tape holding me together right now. So shit might literally go down up here, and I just want to make sure if it ends up on YouTube, please credit me so I can get some of that affiliate money. All jokes aside, you guys, my name is Makayla Jade. I am, yes, a product of Sal Sincata Education. Started out as a photographer 6 years ago, and honestly, the first roadshow that I attended, something similar to this, Sal and Susan were actually both speaking, and so I'm like, I have crazy butterflies in my stomach right now, even thinking that I have the honor to be up here presenting to you guys, so thank you so much. My studio, if you want to check out some of my work, we're not going to talk about photography today, but my studio is called The Harris Company, and we are based out of Saratoga Springs, New York. And I also recently founded the Printographer Society. We launched this week, so I'm super excited about that, and I brought some giveaways with me. Today we're going to talk about Matchmaker marketing, how to find and book clients that crave you and your work. How many of you have had a bad client? Okay, awesome. How many of you have thought you had a bad client walk through your door and they ended up being like unreal, amazing, like your perfect ideal client? Awesome. How many of you feel like you have never, ever even met your like ideal dream client? You're still like really struggling. Okay, my man, I got you. Awesome, thank you. For those of you guys that is this your first time here? Have you been on other shows before? Raise your hand if this is your first time ever in like a learning setting like this. Awesome, that's cool. And the rest of you are just like shutter fiends, I guess, right? Cool, awesome. Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about how typical businesses grow, right? Now there's some of you that are probably have been in business for quite some time, right? You've kind of scaled your business through the maturity phase, and now you're back here because you're looking to innovate and find something new. Raise your hand if that sounds like you, right? Awesome. And then there might be some of you who are kind of in your startup phase, right? You're maybe in your first few years of business, or maybe you're starting a new business, right? Anybody else? Does that sound like you guys? Okay, awesome. What are some of the resources that you need in order to see yourself go up this scale? Or if you've already made it to the top and you're feeling pretty good about where your business is, and now before you enter decay, you want to reinvent yourself and get innovative, what are some of the resources that you need in order to get yourself there? Anybody? Money, right? Whether it's new camera gear or the newest pro photo light setup or new sample products or the newest class or a ticket to Shutterfest or whatever it is, you need money to grow your business, right? And there are two ways that you can get money to grow your business, right? Guys, this is all pretty basic, right? You're still with me? You can either have more work, more clients, or you can raise your pricing. Now, I don't know about you guys, but when I was first starting out and someone gave me these options, Sal Sincata, I chose higher pricing, right? I needed to figure out what I could do in order to warrant premium pricing from my clients so that I could stay home with my kids, still build the life I deserve, give back to my community, and still feel pretty good about it, right? But my work sucked. So I had to figure a lot of that out, right? So I started thinking, okay, how am I going to get these luxury clients that are willing to pay me a ton of money with really shitty work, right? I wasn't really there yet. I started falling down this train of doubt, right? I started thinking there's no way that I can charge premium pricing because I'm not good enough, right? Anybody else ever thought that way? Like, my work's just not good enough to be charging that much. Or I'm not experienced enough. I just started out, right? I'm not there yet. My work isn't good enough. My portfolio is not there. I was hearing from people like the presenters that we saw earlier today and seeing their work and thinking there's no way that I'll ever be at the level that they're at. Or clients like that are not in my area. Anyone else live in a small town, income level super low, there's no way that I can warrant these high prices, right? I hear this all the time from some of our coaching students. I don't have access to those people, right? So you know that there's like your basic weddings, right, run of the mill, and then there's like that top 5% and you're like, there's already a set of photographers that's serving them, they have the wedding planners, they have their people, and I'm not there yet, right? Sound familiar? Anybody? These were all the things that I was thinking when I was just starting out, trying to figure out how am I gonna charge premium pricing. Or I'm an introvert, and I really suck at marketing. So how am I going to put myself out there when, like Susan, I hate people. I don't know how to, I don't know how to put myself out there or talk to people in a manner that's going to get them to buy into what I'm offering, right? And then I started to realize that when I lost my confidence and my trust in myself, that my clients lost all trust in me. But when I came to them and I was confident in what I was offering and I knew that I could serve them on a high level, then they were more likely to buy into what I was offering, right? So the moment that you lose trust and you lose confidence in yourself, the sale is done. It's shot. You have no hope. Because if you don't believe in yourself, your clients are never going to trust you with their most important day, right? And then all of a sudden, I would get on this cycle of emotion, right? So I'm already doubting myself, and now I'm getting anxious. I'm feeling denial, fear, desperation, panic, right? Anybody else feel this? You're like, I'm not booking anybody. What's happening? Nobody likes me. And then you start throwing in everything and giving away the house. Here's 10 hours of coverage. I'm going to throw in a free engagement session. You get a wedding album, a parent album. Give it all. Digitals, everything. And you're still not booking, and you're like, oh my God, I'm still not booking. I better start working for free. And so you start working for exposure and start doing all of these things, right? Because you're acting out of desperation. Sal talked a little bit about that at the beginning of today. These are my kids, by the way. They're super cute, right? Yeah, they're my kids. We have a lot of fun doing that. So I want to ask you guys, why are you here? Why did you show up here tonight? Anybody? Brave soul? Might be a giveaway in it for you? Food?
It's spiritual.
Oh, spiritual food. I love that. Yeah.
I always say education never hurts.
Exactly. Awesome. Right? Anybody else? Shout it out. Okay, there we go. You are here because you are talented. Whether you believe it or someone else has instilled that in you, you're talented, you're inspired, you're passionate, you want to learn more, you want to be the best in your area, right? You didn't go into business for yourself to be emailing at all hours of the night, working 80-hour work weeks, shooting and sharing and not delivering anything meaningful to your clients, right? Getting caught up in all this SEO and all this crap that we have to do as business owners, right? You went into business for yourself because you wanted to provide something more meaningful to your clients and still build a pretty baller lifestyle for yourself, right? Can I? Right? Okay, so the takeaway for today is I'm going to show you exactly how to create a marketing and sales strategy that will rescue you from the roller coaster of desperation. Sound good? And regardless of whether you're in your first few years of business or you've already reached that maturity phase, I'm going to show you how to build a sustainable, scalable business without sacrificing your quality of life. Sound good? Okay, let's get real, because there's a lot of things that I am and there's a lot of things that I am not. I am not an internationally acclaimed photographer. I just started 6 years ago. I'm also not this multi-award winning crazy print comp person, okay? I wish I was, but the only awards I win are the ones that your mom can vote on every day in your hometown. I'm also not a photo school graduate. I learned from people like the presenters that you've seen in this room. And yet, despite all that, I've still been able to grow my business pretty successfully and pretty quickly over the past few years, bring my husband from his full-time career in finance, and grow our nice little small studio team, and still travel the world with my kids and give back to our community. Now, just to bring it back home, I was not an overnight success. When I first started my business, I was that momographer out there that we all hated who decided to pick up a camera and call themselves a professional. That was me, okay? So if you're sitting there and you're seeing these numbers and you're thinking, there's no way that I could possibly do that for myself, I want to tell you that if I can do it, you can absolutely do it too. Because the only difference between successful people and those that fall short is their level of commitment and focus. And the reality is, you guys, you either want it or you don't. Okay, so this is my very simplified business plan when I was first starting out. I said to myself, okay, I don't want to go back to a corporate career, yet I have a new house and a brand new baby, and I need to figure out how to make ends meet. So I told myself, in order for me to live the lifestyle that I wanted to live, I needed to have about $60,000 take home. Well, I didn't know what profitability was at that point in my career, so PPA told me that you should run your business around 40%. So I built it out around that, and that brought me to, okay, I need to make around $150,000 a year revenue. And if I wanted to shoot weddings, and I was shooting weddings at around $1,500 a wedding, or family sessions at around $150, I'd have to shoot 100 weddings a year, or 1,000 portrait sessions. Great, that's not gonna work, right? Anybody else do that math and then think, oh shit, it's not gonna work. Okay, so then I thought to myself, well, what if I was able to raise my pricing to about $3,500 per wedding? Well, that brought me to about 43 weddings, which for some of us is doable. There's 52 Saturdays a year, but there's only 11 Saturdays of summer break, and I knew that my top priority was my family. So this would be considered a mom fail to me. And then I thought, okay, I knew if I wanted to achieve this thing that everyone's calling balance, right, and spend enough time with my family and still build a really awesome business, I could only shoot around 20 to 25 weddings a year. And that would mean that I would need to be averaging around $7,500 per wedding. And that's just being sustainable. That's just like making ends meet. That's no room for growth or investing in God knows all the new widgets that come out in our industry every month, every week, right? That's just sustainability. And I thought to myself, how can I possibly find someone that's willing to pay me $7,500 to shoot their wedding? And so I had to get very creative, and I had to start really researching, what do my clients want, and how can I give that to them, and how can I personally be the best person to give that to them so that they feel like they can invest that much in me. And that's what we're calling matchmaker marketing, because the more you focus on the client's needs, and you have a perfectly clear vision of exactly how to serve them, the more successful you're going to be. The better you can hone that message and have a clear understanding of exactly what it is they want, the more successful you're going to be. Because loyal, happy customers are going to create consistent cash flow. And that means that after they put up that initial investment, they're gonna be more likely to spend more and more and more down the road, right? 3 to 10 times more, to be exact. So when I'm thinking about when I was first starting out, and I was only charging $1,500 a wedding, and thinking, how am I possibly going to scale this? I think back on what I wish I knew. Oops. And what I really wish I knew is that if you just can help, you can get everything that you want if you can just help enough people get everything that they want. So seriously, just by listening to your customers and understanding exactly what it is that they want, and crafting your message, crafting your sales pitch around what they're telling you they want, that's how you're gonna nail the clients of your dreams. Now, Sal stole the show. I actually brought this with me because I was feeling a little nostalgic. This is my first pass back in 2012. And if I was sitting in your seat and someone had told me 5 years from now your business could be making $500,000, I literally would have fainted or walked out the door or slapped them in the face. I would have thought there's no possible way that I'm going to be able to do that for myself. I was a mom. I had my son upstairs because he was only a few months old at that time. Or if someone had told me that I could start bringing in clients that were averaging around $18,000, I would have slapped them in the face or walked out the door, right? But the fact is, if you could just stop letting your self-doubt and all these invisible obstacles get in your way, you actually could make some really epic shit happen, okay? So the first thing that I want to talk to you about when you're trying to attract the right client is really just defining that person and figuring out who that person is. And I want you to stop focusing on the masses. We talked a little bit about your location, and a lot of you said, well, I live in a low-income area, or people in my area just won't pay that much. Stop focusing on the average person. You need to go for that top 5%. Only focus on your top 5%. When you know who you want to serve, you want to show only what you want to sell, okay? So this is my first website. I did everything. I did weddings, I did proposals, engagements, we did video, boudoir, children and families, newborns, birth photography, senior sessions, I did it all, right? The problem with that was I wasn't actually effectively speaking to anyone. So if any one of those clients landed on my site, they would be like, what does this person really do, right? Because your message is not speaking directly to that specific person. I was so afraid to drop off any of those other subcategories and just focus on one thing, because I thought, but I'm gonna miss out on that revenue, right? What if a new mom comes to my site and she wants me to shoot her birth and I don't do births? Then I'm gonna miss out on that, right? Anyone else think about that? Like, you have to have a million categories on your site because you want to serve the masses. The moment we stopped, that's where you see this steep curve in our numbers. So like I was Makayla Jade Creatives. Up until 2014, we rebranded when David started coming on more full-time with us as the Harris Company, and only positioned ourselves as wedding photographers and filmmakers. And from that moment, that was that steep curve. That's that rebrand in our marketing. We even went as far as defining exactly who we wanted to serve on our website so that that messaging could relate to exactly who we were trying to reach and exactly who we wanted to book. We started taking down just portfolio images on our site and putting portfolio images on works of art. So we would attract people that wanted art, not just our imagery, but all the products that come afterwards. We started using header videos on our website that included more artwork because we wanted to attract the people that were ready and willing to invest more down the road. On Instagram, we receive about 5 to 6 leads a week just on Instagram, right? That's where our brides are hanging out right now. So I want to make sure that when someone shows up on my social profile, they're not just seeing a well-branded look, they're also seeing heirlooms, products, imagery, product imagery, things like that. Because the stronger your brand story is, the deeper connection your prospective clients are going to have with you. And so they're going to develop more trust. They're going to trust you more because they feel like they know you and they feel like you were designed to serve them, right? So speak their language and know what's important to them. 80% of consumers indicated that they are more likely to do business with a company if it offers a personalized experience, and they're actually likely to pay more if that experience is specialized, if they're offering a specialized product or service. So being a photographer is not good enough anymore. Even being a New York photographer is not good enough, or being a New York wedding photographer is not good enough. But you have to become ultra specialized. A New York wedding photographer specializing in custom printed art and heirloom albums, right? That's our brand messaging. That's my niche. Because we wanted to, rather than focus on serving everyone, focus your efforts on those that you can serve best. Because when those people come in contact with your brand, they're gonna say, she was made for me. He was made for me. That's exactly what I want for my wedding day. And they're gonna fall so madly in love with your brand and what you're putting out there that you're not even gonna have to sell yourself because they're already falling in love with you, right? We've all heard these sayings, jack of all trades, master of none. The riches are in the niches. If what you do can't be said in one sentence, no one will ever talk about it, right? But there's real meaning to these things. Now what I'm saying is, I'm not saying that you have to turn down all the other work. I realize that sometimes that's what pays the bills, especially when you're first starting out. I'm just telling you not to showcase it. So you can still accept jobs that may not be from your perfect ideal client right away if you're trying to grow your business and invest in other things, but you don't have to showcase it. These were 2 weddings that I shot last year. They were like 6 weeks apart, right? They both came in over $18,000 account for us, $18,000 client accounts for us. This client on the right is all over my website. She's my ideal client. These 2 on the left, love them to death. They're the most fun. That was probably the most fun I've ever had at a wedding in my life. And it was after a 3-day weekend of being in Boston and back in Albany and up in Lake Placid. I was so exhausted, but they're not anywhere on my site. And it's not because I don't like them or because they didn't pay me as much. It's because if I had put both of these images on my site and showcased both of those looks, I would have missed out on booking other clients like her. And those are my ideal clients, right? So when you have curated marketing and you're showing what you want to sell, you will start to attract more people that want exactly that. Now again, this was one of our clients. She was perfect. I absolutely loved her. I fell in love with her the moment I met her. And we went on to shoot a bridal boudoir session for her, her wedding, maternity, newborn, 1-year session. I mean, it was amazing. And because I had established that relationship with her right from the beginning, and I listened to her, and she trusted me, she continued to invest in me. Now, do I go around saying I'm a maternity photographer or a newborn photographer? No. But because I know that I can serve her best, because I know her, I listen to her, and I can be that expert for her. Okay, now you're probably saying, yeah, that's great, right? I know exactly who I want to serve, but they just don't necessarily want to work with me, right? Anybody relate to that? That was me when I first started out, right? I was shooting weddings in fire halls and public parks that were terrible, and I just wanted to book these like super high-end weddings, and they just didn't want me, right? So you have to find your difference. We talked a lot about this today between Sal's signature look and Susan's lighting and all of that, right? Discover your difference. The one thing that they're not telling you though is that it actually has very little to do with you. It's actually more about how the client perceives what you do will impact their life, right? How is your specialty gonna change their life? And that's how we shift the focus, and that's how you're gonna land the sale. Because the fact of the matter is, right, our industry is flooded with photographers. And we all have the same access to all of the brand new Canon gear, all the new pro photo lighting, all the newest albums that are out there, all the Lightroom presets, the Photoshop actions, right? We all have access to the same thing. So how do we stand out? Find out what your favorite clients want and emphasize more of that, right? So if you don't know what your competitive advantage is or what your specialty is or what you're absolutely excellent at, just ask your favorite clients. Why did you hire me? What about my work resonated with you? Why did you think I would be a good fit for you? Because chances are they're probably gonna say some really nice things. So we started doing this in our initial inquiry prior to the first consult that we have with our clients. We send out this little questionnaire and we say, what drew you to our work? Why do you think we would be a good fit for your wedding? What services are you interested in? Blah, 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 all the things, right? But they start saying things like, I love the way it feels like you know the people in your images, or I love how you incorporate an element of architecture. Or my personal favorite, when they specifically point out the fact that I put such a high priority on heirlooms, right? I love when a client fills out this questionnaire and they're like, I just love prints. It just means so much to me. I'm like, me too! And that means you're gonna spend so much money and I love you, right? You're my perfect client. She wants all the things. So we started doing more of that. On our website, we built out an entire section designated to heirlooms so that our prospective clients could see this is what we do best, right? Thought this was a video, maybe not. Oh, there it goes. So they could see all the different products that we offer. This is right on our website, so people can kind of shop this. When they go to the Experience tab, instead of hearing about pricing, they're gonna be drawn to some of our other, all the albums and the beautiful things, right? Because I don't just wanna show them portfolio images, I wanna show them portfolio images on works of art and prints and things like that. Okay. So you get the lead that comes into your email, right? And you start conditioning them with lead email sequences or whatever, and maybe they fall off, maybe they have the opportunity to come in and meet in person. So what do you do in that initial consult to stand out for the sale? Anyone else like get super nervous before those initial in-person consults when you're meeting up with your clients and you're like, God, I just really want to book this person. They sounded great. They said they even loved heirlooms. When I first started out, I used to get so nervous and clammy and shaky before my initial consults that I almost couldn't do it. I was that scared. So I would bring my husband along with me, and for some reason, every time we went together, we would always book the couple. This is my husband. He's super dreamy. We didn't book them just because he's dreamy. I started to really listen to what it was that he was saying that got the couple so invested in our conversation. And I almost started to study it. Okay, like what is his process and how does he do this? And so I built out a system. The first thing that he did every time he was talking to our clients was really connect with them and listen. He would ask them so many questions that it almost felt like we could write a book on this couple. And meanwhile, I'm over here and I'm like, I thought they came to learn about us, right? I know I'm a terrible person. The second thing that he would do is ask them, what is important to you and why? So when we would get the question like, well, I really just want 10 hours of coverage, I want 6 photographers because I can't miss a moment, and all the digitals, I'll figure out how to do that later. Well, why? What do you need the digitals for? Why do you need 6 photographers? Why is that important to you? Because it allows us to, number one, it shows that we actually listen and we're not just like, okay, great, yeah, we could do that for you. It shows that we're actually listening to them and what they want, and it allows us to dive deeper because chances are sometimes we can offer a better solution to what they really actually need, right? Because you've all had clients that come into your studio and they say things like, well, I just want the digitals, and you're like, okay, well, why do you want the digitals? What do you want to do with them? Things like that, right? This allows us to dive a little bit deeper. The third thing that he would ask them is some version of this question: how can we help make that vision a reality? How can we make all of your wedding day dreams come true, right? What about our work resonated with you? Why did we stand out? And it's crazy because at this point, they start selling themselves on you, right? They start talking about how wonderful you are, and you literally just sit back and you don't have to say a thing. And then the last thing that he would do is he would basically repeat everything that they just said. I'm so glad that you love this about the way we work with our clients. That's so true. I love that you put such a high priority on the wedding album. That's literally our top priority. And we would literally regurgitate back to them everything they said about why they wanted to work with us and just repeat it back. And then we would ask them if they wanted to talk about the investment required to get them everything they wish for. Does that sound salesy at all? But with the great part about that is when you invite them to talk about pricing, what are they going to say? Are they going to say no? Obviously, they're curious, right? They inquired with you for a reason. They're going to say yes. And the moment someone says yes to you, you have so much more power, right? It's that whole brand loyalty thing. Yeah. We do include a starting price point in our initial email to them. Yes.
Not the full list, just...
Nope, just a starting price point. Yeah.
Do you meet every client in person?
Those that we can, but we live, if you were to look at a map, you guys know where New York City is, and Boston, we're in Saratoga Springs, so we're if you were to draw a triangle, we're right in the middle of those two cities. So a lot of our clients are from New York and coming upstate to have a cheaper wedding, right? Or Boston and coming west or something like that to get married in the Berkshires, because that's trendy. So a lot of our clients don't live in our town. It's a destination wedding town. So for those that are local or they have family in the area, we will try and meet with them in person, but a lot of this is done via Zoom, which is Skype. Great question though. Okay, and that process, by the way, that 4-step process is exactly what we do when we're doing in-person sales too. So my talk today it's about marketing, not our sales system, but this is exactly what we use when we're selling products too. It's all the same, right? All sales are the same. And when you approach each customer with the idea of helping him or her to solve a problem and achieve a goal, not just selling a product or service, you're going to be successful, right? Because you're doing something for them. You want to guide your clients to envision their future self with you as the bridge to get there. That's why you need to ask those deeper ask those deeper questions, Things like, why do you want the digitals? Oh, so are you gonna make the album yourself then? Because you know what, honestly, I've done that in the past, and what ends up happening is 6 years from now, you're still not gonna have a wedding album. And that literally pains me. And I really feel like I'm not doing my job as a wedding photographer if I don't make sure that your album is as beautiful as it can possibly be, and it's printed on the finest papers with a beautiful lab, with all the things, right? You position yourself as an expert. You want to start envisioning their future self. And then, you know what, you're right. I don't even have time to clean my house, let alone create a wedding album, right? They start to envision their future self. Or when you're talking about wall art, and you allow them to kind of say like, wouldn't it be so beautiful if we do your engagement session where you guys met in Brooklyn, and then every time you walk home, you walk in your house after a long day of work, on that like staircase right at the front, there's like a beautiful photo of you guys and just reminds you to be like super happy and in love again, right? You're allowing them to envision their future self, and you're the bridge to get them there. That's how you start selling them into loyal customers, right? Okay. So the problem is that sometimes you've done all that, right? You're out here thinking, you're like, okay, great, we've defined our ideal client, and now we know all the sales steps, but sometimes that's just not enough. Sometimes we really just need to build those relationships with our network, right? If you really want to like get into a high-end, you want to like tap into a high-end network of people, sometimes it's like the wedding planner that you have to know, right? Anybody? No one? You can't like think of like, okay, there's the best florist in my area, there's the best wedding planner in my area, there's the best this, and this, right? Everyone has those in their town, right? It's not just me. Okay. 92% of consumers say that they trust word of mouth or recommendations from friends or family above all other advertising. So we need to make sure that this is a huge part of our marketing strategy, right? Excuse me. Step 1, find those popular kids. Okay, I just listed it off. We moved our studio from Boston to Saratoga Springs after spending way too much time on the Mass Pike, driving back and forth, dropping our kids off at Grandma and Grandpa's house while shooting weddings. And so when we moved to a new town, I knew, okay, if I'm coming from Boston, which is a big metro market, and I'm going into a small little town in upstate New York, and I want my pricing to stay the same, I'm gonna have to do a lot of work. So I wanted to find the best. I wanted to find everyone who was the best at what they did. And then, oops, this isn't working anymore. Figure out what they need and what you can offer them. So as photographers, we can give them photos, right? Or, my husband is a cinematographer, so we did a lot of promotional videos for people. Nope, still no. Put yourself out there. Do not be afraid to offer something. If you go to their website and you're like, ooh, their photos are like from 1990, they need an update. Feel free to say, hey, I'm a photographer, I'm new to the area. Listen, I would love to make a connection with you. Do you mind, like maybe we could do something together? You put together some of your favorite bouquets. It looks like, you haven't maybe updated some of the stuff on your website. I would love to give you some branded photos that can really appeal to, a newer, younger audience, whatever it is, right? How can you help them? How can you serve them? And don't be afraid to put yourself out there. And then open up a real relationship with these people. Do not just go out there and say, hey, I'm a photographer, hey, I'm a photographer, and start like spitting business cards at people, right? It's not gonna work. You have to be actually invested in working with these people. Otherwise, they're gonna feel that fakeness, right? And then follow up and ask for social proof. Follow up with them. Hey, how was your experience? I know you work with a lot of photographers. How was your experience working with me? Like, is there something that you love that I did? Is there something that I can improve on? That goes so far, you guys. Have you ever asked a wedding planner like what they thought about working with you? That goes so far because they're like, wow, like no one's ever asked me like if I had any feedback on how they could be better before. And then use their testimonials as social proof. And you can trade that in a sense too. Like, hey, I really enjoyed working with you. I would love to put up a glowing review. Where would you prefer I did that? Would you like me to put that on Google or Facebook, or what's the best format for you? Because when you offer to do that for them, you're gifting them something and they're much more likely to reciprocate, right? If you guys aren't aware, these are some awesome like national groups where I don't know, in smaller cities they're not really there, but in bigger cities you guys can find some of these other groups, especially like WIPA and NACE. We've been members of that in the past, and it's really helped kind of be conversation starters for some of those higher end networks. So align yourself with the right people, the people that make sense, the relationships that will be mutually beneficial. So I'm not telling you to go out and do all this free work for every person in town just because you're the new guy. I'm telling you to align yourself strategically with the partnerships that make sense for you. Sal talked a little bit about this before, the same-day edit. The perfect way to get in front of the top-notch vendors and all of your ideal clients. If you have a favorite bride, Do a same-day edit. All of her bridesmaids are potential customers, your ideal potential customers. We do it a little bit differently because we are a photo cinema duo, so this is actually a same-day edit video. When we do same-day edit slideshows, we do the digital picture frame kind of off to the side of the bar, siphoning through some of that stuff. Become the irresistible choice, the power of perspective. Okay, so now you're kind of feeling like you're in a place where you know who you want to serve, you know how you want to talk to them, you're going to reach out and find your network. But how do you become like the one that people go to in your area? How do you become like the best of the best, right? I find that the best way to do that, to really become the irresistible choice and really stand out in your clients' minds, is by offering them the power of perspective. Now, first of all, I don't want you to start discounting your work. Your work does have to be amazing. It should actually be prolific. It should actually be so unique and different that it allows you to stand out. Like a lighting situation, a certain editing style, or something that is like so you that it can be easily identified. If you don't have it, create it. Go out there and create it. Whether it's a styled shoe or you're getting a bunch of collaborators together to kind of put together something that's like a passion project for you, something that you want to kind of have more on your website or get more of those ideal clients, create it. Stop looking at your competition and start thinking bigger. I know that I, for the longest time, got stuck just following the same people in my area on Instagram being like, ugh, why didn't I think of that? Ugh, why didn't I do that? Ugh. How come I didn't think of that pose, right? Anyone else gets stuck in that rut? It really sucks, right? Stop. Just stop looking. If you want to be better than them, you have to start thinking bigger. Source inspiration outside your market, even outside the industry. That's why I love coming to events like this, because it fuels me from seeing people from all over the world and what they're doing. Invest in yourself and invest in mentorship. Invest in a coach, invest in someone that can kind of help give you that third person opinion. And then ask for feedback again, and ask for the social proof, right? You guys know what I mean by that, right? When someone gives you a testimonial, that's such better marketing than anything you could say about yourself, right? So use that in your marketing. Okay, next up, you are your brand. How many of you guys have about photos on your page? About photos, okay. You guys, you gotta get an about photo on your page. And not just an about photo, a branded about photo. Okay, so both of these images are like me at my happiest, right? But the one on the left is what my clients see first, because that's my brand. That's the perception that I want to give off. Like, I want to give them, this is my brand. I'm clean, I'm simple, I'm classic, I'm timeless. That's who I want to show them that I am. This is also me, right? But and I will let them see this, right? Because I want them to know that I have a family and I have a personal life, and that's important to me too. But I don't want that to be the first impression, right? I want their first impression of me to be impactful. I do the same thing when I'm speaking. I specifically tailor different headshots to different audiences, right? Or when I'm looking for, when I'm traveling or looking for mentorship students or something like that, I want that whoever you guys are looking for, whoever you're searching for, I want to be able that instantly you're able to see exactly who I am right from looking at one image, right? And you could do that on your website as well. So how do you want to be perceived? What do you want your first impression to be? What kind of relationship do your clients want to have with you? What are your clients looking for? Are they looking for a friend? Are they looking for a director? Are they looking for someone who's like super artistic and stylistic and is going to tell them exactly what they need to do? Right? You need to know exactly what your clients are looking for. And then how will you communicate that in one image? This is super powerful, you guys, because the moment your clients see you that way and they create that first impression, they're either going to want to work with you or they're not. Right? It's literally an instant impression, whether we like it or not. And then position yourself as the expert by offering your perspective. Tell your story. Why are you the best one to do this for them? My daughter recently asked me to read the story of Mommy and Daddy's wedding day, and I had to tell her that I didn't have it. Why? Because when we got married, we hired a budget photographer. She botched up our entire day, gave us a CD of images that was entirely scratched, and now I don't even have a computer that can read that CD because computers don't even have a CD-ROM drive anymore. And so when I tell my clients that I am the best photographer for you because I know the importance of that wedding day, and I know that it's actually so important to not just you, but the people that are going to outlast you. right? And for that reason, I'm so committed to providing every single person that I photograph with a wedding album so that they never have to see the look in their child's eyes when they're disappointed and they have to tell them that they can't see those photos. When I tell my clients that shows them that I care, and not just that I care, that I'm invested in them and their future. And now they want to work with me, but they also want an album, right? This is a video that I'm not sure if you can hear, but let's try it. I remember the first time that we had an album printed that Blake could actually understand, and seeing him look at the pictures, and it was like something went off in his mind where he was like, wait, I remember being there, like I remember that. And he said, I want to go back there.
I remember this. Leah and Emily used to kick a piano and make sounds, right?
Yeah, they did.
Makes you feel better about yourself as a parent, like looking back through these memories. You're like, okay, yeah,
I did something right.
I did something right. I'm doing a good job. Like, and they're smiling about, they're remembering it fondly. So, I mean, unless you print them and you see like your year in review, you're like, oh my god, like we did a lot with our kids. We do a lot with our kids, and if they're just on your phone, it's really hard to see that.
Yeah, it comes to life when it's a story, and especially in a child's mind when they're able to, feel the pages and flip through the book. It's, the way we relive it is as if we're reading a story, and it's a story about them, and it's a story that reminds them of what's most important in life, and to kind of see those values ingrained in them at such a young age is probably the most rewarding thing as a parent.
Don't do it! No!
So we print these family albums to remind ourselves that we actually do fun stuff with our kids. Our years with our babies are actually filled with lots of amazing memories. And because we print them and we share that with our kids, they're reminded of all those awesome times. And it makes us feel a little less guilty, and it makes them feel like they've had a pretty good life, right? And so when I show this video, we put it out there. We put it on our Facebook page. We put it on our website. Our clients, how is someone going to tell you they don't want an album after seeing something like that, after hearing that message? People are not just buying goods, they're buying relationships, stories, and magic, right? It's not just about the products, you guys. And once you start to shift that mindset and you start showing some of the social proof, you're going to find that your clients are going to buy into that a lot more. So we do a lot on the heirloom side of things, again, because I'm trying to reach that person that cares about this stuff. That's who my ideal client is. So all of our marketing, all of our behind the scenes, all of the testimonials on our website are not just designed, not just surrounding the service and the imagery, but it's about the products, right? So I'm putting testimonials like this out there so that people are starting to think about the products, right? If you think your pictures look good on your computer, wait till you see Makayla's work blown up, right? That means so much more coming from them than it does from me. Definitely worth the investment. Now we're able to constantly look at and remember such an exciting time in our lives. Take it a step further. We started putting mini case studies on our website. We started showing what past couples, our featured couples, were buying. You know what happens when you put stuff like that up there? The next girl wants the biggest size in 3-piece collection and the larger album and 3 parent albums. Because every bride has to be better than the last bride, right? Insta Stories has been huge for us. We started showcasing prints coming out of our printer, what it looks like when we hand mat things, our clients' reactions when they're seeing their prints for the first time. Now, they're not fearing the in-person sales session, they're excited for it. It's all part of our marketing, right? Because how many of you guys are doing in-person sales? Okay, awesome. How many of you are a little bit anxious before the sale because you're hoping your clients are going to spend a lot of money, right? Yeah, it's a scary thing, right? Get your clients excited about it, right? It's something to be excited about. It's an experience. It's an elevated experience. Start posting behind the scenes, showing people how exciting this whole process is. So we do a lot of this in our studio, again, because it's part of our marketing strategy all the time. Every week we're showcasing families coming in, looking at their prints. We're putting it out online. And that brings me to my last point. When you've built the brand loyalty, when you've structured your messaging, when you have them hooked, right? Now it's time to maximize your profit. Multiply your client accounts. A loyal customer who adores your brand is more than 11 times likely to buy more, 17 times as likely to recommend your company, 9 times as likely to try new things that your company is offering even later down the road, and 6 times as likely to forgive you if you do make a mistake. It's called cognitive fluency. That's a fancy word that I put in here just so it sounded really smart. But basically what we're trying to say, and this is from Harvard Business Review, is on average, a loyal customer will spend 10 times more after that initial purchase. So why in the world are we spending so much time trying to serve more clients as opposed to serving our current clients on a deeper level and making more as a result, right? Build up that brand loyalty and get them to buy into more of what you're offering. When I broke out our revenue, more than half of what we generate is in prints and albums. So if you're out there and you're not building this brand loyalty, or you're not building these loyal customers, and you're thinking to yourself, I'm probably leaving something on the table, you are. It's more than half your business, right? The worst thing that your competition can do is offer a better version of what you offer to your clients than you did. So by not positioning yourself as the expert and not offering them that album or asking or delivering that in-person experience or building your marketing in a way that allows them to really be buying into you every step of the way, you're allowing someone else to steal it from you. Someone else can do it for you. We actually hear all the time, clients will come to us and be like, hey, my photographer actually gave us digital images, but I see your albums all over Instagram. Can you do that for me? Yes, I can. Your photographer can also do that for you. You just don't know about it because they never post about it, right? When you're staying top of mind and you're telling your clients, hey, we do this and we offer this and we offer this, they're gonna want it, right? It's just, you're just conditioning them. So to recap, know exactly who you want to serve and serve them well. Network like you need it because you do, right? If you don't ask, the answer is always no. I have to show you guys this video, so give me 1 second while I X out of my Spotify so that I don't blast you with Eminem music. And then let me see if I can get this to work, because this is really special. So this client sent me this video. And what happened is I shot her wedding in October, and the grandma couldn't make it to the video because she was too sick. And so the grandma sent her this video. After the wedding, we did our typical post-production, got the album to them, and then at Christmas time, she had passed. And they had the album, we had the album to them fast enough so that way they could bring the album to the hospital and share it with her. And so she left me the most amazing voicemail, and I have to share it with you guys.
Go ahead.
Hi everybody, I just had to be here and be a part of you because I love all of you. Have a great day with this group you can't miss. Drew and Carrie, may God bless you. Your love will live forever. Your loving grandma.
Hi Makayla, as you know, Drew's grandmother wasn't able to come to our wedding because she was sick, and we got our album in the mail from you a week ago, and we were so excited to share it with her in the hospital. And I think the most amazing thing was that after looking through it all, she just said that she felt like she was there and she was able to experience it with us, and it's something so special that I really thank you for providing to us, along with beautiful pictures, of course, but being able to share that whole experience with her, and for her, you know, before she passed away, to say like she felt like she was there. It was amazing, and we can't thank you enough for being able to share such important things with family members who might not be able to be there. And with her passing away, it's just awesome that we could share that with her. I really appreciate all that you do for your clients and allowing us to have prints to share with our loved ones.
If I didn't ask her if she wanted that album, if I didn't pull her through our sales system the way that we did, if we didn't market the beauty of these albums the way that we do in our marketing approach, we never would have gotten that album to Carrie in time for her grandma to see it. And it would have never been the same just going through a gallery of images, right? We all have stories like this in our life. And when I put that video that we created with the album design, and don't judge my album designs, all right? I still, thank goodness I have Evolve Edits now that can take care of all the stuff I'm doing wrong. And Susan for all her lighting techniques. When we put that video online, do you know how many parent albums we sold after we put that on our Facebook page? It was like a light bulb that went off. Like, wow, this is marketing, you guys. This is marketing. Sharing these stories, sharing stories from your clients like this is marketing, and it's gonna make you a ton of money. And it is our obligation to ourselves, our family, and our community to create success. So get yourself off of that cycle of market emotion and that roller coaster of desperation. And whether your number is 7,500 or 18,000 or anything else, write it down, put it out there, and make it happen. And stop letting self-doubt and invisible obstacles stand in your way. For those of you that want to, I do have a free Dream Client Challenge. If you want some more help kind of figuring out who you want to serve and how to market to them, you can find that on Printographers Society or find it on Instagram. I also have a Facebook group as well, Printographers Society Facebook group, if you want to check out more of our resources there. A lot of the free resources that we include in our group is how we communicate the value of print to our clients as well.